From Nissan North America come down.
I thought I saw you.
And there'll be Kevin Smith, Manager of Technical Training at Nissan North America, and Paul Williams, Maintenance Technologist and Trainer from Nissan North America. Please welcome them.
Hi, I'm going to... I'm not.
Yeah, I think they changed the audio, so you have to stand back here.
I'm just going to speak right here then. I'm just going to speak very briefly while Paul is bringing up his program, and tell you how we got into the apprenticeship business with AMTEC and our partner, the Tennessee College of Applied Technology. We were looking at a way to speed up our process. Our old apprenticeship program was 4 years. We wanted to cut that time in half. We also wanted to improve retention. That was the biggest problem we had. We have guys going through a 4-year program, they can't step out on the floor and help us. So Paul's one of the keys to our success. We've got Paul and other guys in the plant who are master trainers, and they're the ones that are really bringing our apprentices along. 5 weeks in the program, on the curriculum. 5 weeks with Paul or other master trainers like them in their department, learning the automated systems that relate to what they just learned. They're very tied into our TCAT instructor so that they're actually reinforcing everything that they get for those 5 weeks. So I'm going to turn it over to Paul because he's one of the critical components of this, and he can tell you about all the great work that they've done with Walt and Craig and Keller and everybody to get the curriculum straightened out, that they're doing a great job on of making sure it's going to work for everybody when they start using it.
I guess I'm going to have to give him his $5 when we leave here. As he said, my name is Paul Williams. I started in this a little over 30 years ago. Been in maintenance about 29 of those years. I started in the maintenance through an apprenticeship program that was a little different, kind of like the one we're doing now. Mine was based on 12,000 working hours through the Nashville State Technical College. 6 years, which is odd, whereas a lot of the apprenticeships before. We went back to a 4-year program for a while, did away with the apprenticeships for a little bit, and now we're running another one in concert with the AMTEC curriculum. So what our objective was to begin an apprenticeship program to supplement our existing workforce with people trained under the AMTEC curriculum, in combination with additional supplemental in-house training.
Can we get the mic to us?
Bring it in.
Hello?
There you go.
Boy, you guys made a mistake. Gave you a remote control and a microphone. You guys are in for it now. Maintenance man with a microphone, lower reverse. Okay, to continue, we're working with our in-house trainers such as myself. I work in the trim and chassis department. We have trainers for our stamping area, our body assembly area, and our paint areas. So wherever the people were assigned, they have somebody with a strong background in that area to help them assimilate what they're learning with the real world applications. With the expectation of these apprentices when they graduate is to come out and be a functional member of our maintenance departments. How do we get our guys? It was open to any production-based technician within the facility. We have currently running 3 shifts of production, 5 or 6 days a week. And as of our last expansion, I think we're the largest automotive assembly plant under one roof. So do we have a lot of people to pick from? Yes, we do. We ended up with over 400 applicants to try and get into maintenance. 300 decided, okay, now that I know what I'm getting in for a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and try. We had an 85% pass rate from our first round of testing. And our first round of testing was an aptitude, similar to the ASVAB tests. So the people we're getting are going to be kind of sharp. Okay? We had a second round to because we had so many to pick from. We had 280, 290 people. So the second round was given where it was a rapid fire question and answer period to try and get people that could respond correctly and quickly. That's the maintenance department. We can't go out to a job and say, okay, let me think about it for a couple hours. Yeah, we get that response from our management when we do that. That ain't gonna work. So we have to have people that are somewhat geared towards making a decision going on with it. From there, we narrowed it down to 100, and each of the department managers from the different areas of maintenance had an opportunity to interview these people. From there, we narrowed it down to 24. So we're the pinchers that Paul was talking about earlier. We have a group of 24 going through this all at the same time. We made the offers to the selectees, and lo and behold, nobody turned it down. We got the 24 people that they asked for. January 2nd of this year, we started class. These are our guys in the upstairs training area at the training center that Kevin was talking about. Started with the AMTEC curriculum with the basic computer literacy because it's all online based. We continued with safety, first aid. Fortunately for us, being a facility, we have our own on-site EMTs. They came over and conducted the first aid for us.
That's cool.
We can utilize other folks throughout our facility that have even more expertise in the particular areas, such as the first aid. How are we using it? Okay, we're taking a unique approach to this apprenticeship. Okay, mine was kind of unique. We went to a standard. Now we're going a little bit different again, like Kevin was talking earlier. It's 5 weeks, 8 hours a day in class. Yeah, it can get old quick. It's 5 weeks, 8 hours a day in the shop. That gets old quick for them too, because the trainers are kind of hard on them. But the 8 weeks that they're in class, they're fully paid for. The 8 hours a day that they're in the plant, they earn their money. We don't take it easy on them. This continues for 2 full years, followed by a 3rd year of their apprenticeship being 100% on the floor all the time, as a functional member of our workforce. The class portion of the training, we're using the AMTEC modules as the base for their academic studies. The individual modules cover all the different areas of the maintenance field that are required to become a multi-skilled technician. What does that mean? It means we're going to cover electronics, hydraulics, pneumatics, robotics, computers, plumbing, pipe fitting, gas usage, you name it. We cover every aspect that we do because there's no job we go out to that we can say, I can't do this. I have to call Dr. Manley. It takes a while for her to get there from northern Michigan. But our guys can't do that. We have to cover all aspects of the maintenance field. So we're looking for that type of person. We use these modules in conjunction with an on-site instructor from TCAT, our Tennessee Colleges of Applied Technology. By using an instructor from the college level that has real-world experience, he can utilize that experience along with the module to enhance it. If there's a question about a particular area, an instructor with a background in the industry can say, okay, let's look at this as an example. Oh, this is a problem I had when I worked. And can thoroughly explain it as time goes on. Excuse me. You can tell I'm new to this, can't you? All right, and he can use that, explain it in a real-world application, which makes all the difference in the world, as far as I'm concerned, when you're trying to learn something that you're going to take into the real world. With this process, we're also able to create or modify the lab work to more directly relate to our environment. Okay, there's a question in there that's maybe Siemens based. At our facility, we don't use Siemens. Around Bradley, GE, Omron. We've had Modicon in the past, we've had Hitachi, we've had Timex. We've had them all over the years. So we can gear things a little bit more towards our area, because what's different than a lot of you folks in here, from our standpoint, we're not trying to create engineers. Our first goal is to create 24 maintenance men. Hopefully, we will create 24 engineers. But that's not my primary goal as a master trainer. My goal is to get 24 functional people for our maintenance department out in the shop, doing the job, making us better. The lab portions of the modules have really been a challenge for us. And Walt. I told a couple people earlier that's where Walt began his hate-love relationship. And
We all know that. We all know
I
that.
mean, Walt hates to love us, but he does.
There you go. That's it.
Caller ID on his end would be a good thing, I'm sure. It's really been a challenge for us, because you get 24 people all at the same level, doing the same lab at the same time. So where does that cause a problem? 24 people, the hours required for the lab, for one instructor to run the lab, grade the test, fit it all in a 5-week period, along with the lecture. There ain't enough time in a day. Some of these labs, if you figure 20 hours worth of lab, times 24 students, times grading time, there ain't a whole lot of time left over. A big advantage we have with that, we can use our in-plant trainers, such as myself, training center staff, such as Kevin, to better accommodate large class size. We can run with 5 trainers plus the instructor, we can run the lab 6 times in the space that it would take him by himself to do one. Saves on time, helps us out, but it's still a bit of a push sometimes. We have to come off of the floor doing our regular jobs over there to spend that same amount of time. But it's doable, and the guys are learning a lot from it. Curriculum history, as we were one of the first industries to put this into full application, there was a problem or two. That's to be expected. We knew it was coming. When you start with a new system like that, it's never going to run right the first time. So we had some growing pains. No problem. We began working in concert with the AMTEC staff and other industry partners, excuse me, from BMW, Toyota, VW, Ford, got together in groups like this, working with Walt, Craig, Dr. Manley, to take the modules apart, find the things that we had problems with, put them back together, and make them better useful for people down the road. Because some of the modules we'd already done. Like the slide showed earlier, we started this in January. We've gone through 24 modules, is that right? Today. One day our guys come back to the shop for the last time for this year, so we went through 24 modules this year. Some of them were more problematic than the others because we were way far ahead. But we also look to the future and try to make things better for us down the line and for anybody else that comes on behind us to try and make things smoother and easier, cover better content, make it all match up. Okay? Some of the things we've been doing in class, this is our guys in the upstairs learning facility along with our upstairs lab facility. Out in our training area shop, going through instrumentation class. You see they're working on, that's a saw, checking amperage. Again on a mill, on a drill press, and one of our ABB robots is in the training facility. We have access to a lot of good things. Here's our guys working with the simulator and one of our body shop technicians kind of tearing the robot apart by those things. More instrumentation. We're able to take real world stuff, take it apart, bring it over for our guys to work with. These are some of the guys working inside a panel on a training area out in the shop, where we can take all their electronics, put it into real world applications. Here's some of my guys working on a project. This is a stopper assembly for kitty carts that is going to be used Nissan-wide, and it's fully designed by apprentices. Here's some of the paint shop guys rebuilding the oven controls over in the training center for them. Bunch of smiling, happy faces because I got one done. We also have access to some new growing technologies. This piece here was designed by the apprentices as part of that stop assembly and created on a 3D printer. Here's our guys using the thermography that goes along with the advanced technologies module. And again, we brought another person over from the plant that works strictly with thermography, vibration, motor analysis. Took them over. In fact, Thursday of this week is when they actually go deeper into it. Matt and the guys that he works with coming back again for a second go around to really reinforce and go deeper into it. This is just an overview for them of what was coming up. That's the fortunate thing for us. We have guys out in the plant that are really, really tuned in to what they do. Matt is a 20-year maintenance technician. They got into the predictive maintenance department and has gone a long way with them. Our global maintenance, reliability center maintenance facility groups, they're working really, really hard to make us even better. Matt's part of that group. And these guys here are starting to learn what thermography can and can't do. We have some pretty decent equipment for them to work with. That's another advantage being in the industry. We sometimes have up-to-date, real good stuff to work with, whereas I know some of the community colleges have a harder time, like General Lansing was talking about, getting the equipment to work with. Sometimes it's several years old or a generation or two from what's actually out there now. That's a plus that we have. So hopefully at the end of all this, after the 2 years, our guys can go out on the floor for that last year and be ahead of the game. And the feedback I'm getting currently from the maintenance department managers is don't stop. Keep going. We're doing something right. The knowledge that they're getting through the coursework and not being beat up too bad by us when we came out in the field, it's doing something. Because the guys that they work with, when they come back over to the plant, the regular workforce, they go to their boss and say, hey, can we bring those guys in this Saturday to help us out? They want them there. They're only a year in the program. Our senior vice president, Susan Brennan, came out and watched some of the guys with that stop assembly and said, these guys are 9 months into apprenticeship. I said, yes, ma'am. What are they going to be like when they graduate? I said, hopefully better than they are now. I said, that's going to be pushing it. She was really impressed with the level that these guys are getting to. So the history's starting to come together. Yeah, we're one of the first ones and we're only a year into it. But it's a good first year. Could have gone really, really bad, but it didn't. We were able to work together. Yeah. Walt hated me for a while. Now he loves me. But together, them, the other departments, we're able to start putting things in there that will really, really take this to the next level for anybody else taking off with it. I think you'll get a good product. And I think once you get your students from the college level into industry, you'll get really good feedback on the backside too. From us, we are the industry, and we're telling them, you're off to a good start. No need to stop now. They need to keep moving forward. We need to keep beating on these guys to fully reinforce the stuff that they're getting. When they finish a mechanical course, they come out to the shop, there's a pump. Out at it. It's broke. Tell me what's wrong with it. Take it apart, put it back together, make it work. We're there to help them as in-house trainers. They have a problem, say, hey, is this bearing good or bad? All right, what do you think? Well, it's got a hitch in it. When I turn the bearing, I can feel one of the balls, got a flat spot or something. All right, so is that good? No. We get a new one, put it all back together, make it work better than it was when we took it apart. That's our goal. Because these guys are the future of the plant, and I'm hoping to retire someday. Hopefully they'll keep making cars so I can get a retirement check. That's my goal anyway.
That's it.